Hello, welcome back to the Barista Witch channel. It is me, your girl Misha, your Barista Witch, here to give you the cosmic tea on this upcoming annular solar eclipse on October 2nd, 2024. And because I love you, I have of course done a pick a card tarot reading for this annular solar eclipse new moon energy. All of that is linked in the description box. Click on in, find a deck, see what resonates with you, and follow along. But before we get into it, this is just your humble reminder to please subscribe to the channel. And if you like what you see, feel free to like the video, share the video, etc., etc. And a solar eclipse occurs when the moon moves between the sun and the earth, consequently blocking out any sunlight that we could receive. And if you guys remember that total solar eclipse earlier this year in April where it literally got fucking dark. So we're having another solar eclipse, except it's not total. This one is called an annular solar eclipse, and because of the distance of where the earth will be in relation to the sun, we still will see what's called the ring of fire. So the perimeter will look like this ring, which literally, can you imagine being in ancient times and seeing this? I would have lost my entire fucking mind. I would have been like, okay, so the world is legitimately over, cool. And consequently, because of this, eclipses have been seen as disruptions to the natural order and usually seen as this kind of negative omen. Again, imagine you're just like some fucking farmer, some village peasant, and then all of a sudden, there's just no sun. No. So I'm going to tell you a little story time about the origins of eclipses, and it's Indian mythology. This is a very like 2024 modernized version of it. You can Google like the transliteration of the story yourself. But basically, in Jyotish, we recognize two planets that typically in Western astrology is not factored in so much into the grand schema of analyzing a chart for like the layman. And these two planets are called Rahu and Ketu. And Rahu and Ketu at one point used to be one. Let's get into story time. Pull up a chair, get cozy. She's spilling the cosmic tea. Imagine all of the planets personified as deities, like these humanoid deities. So imagine like Saturn, Mercury, Venus, kikiing, Sun, Moon, Jupiter. They're having a little moment, and they decide to create what's called Amrita, the elixir of life or immortality. And while they're doing this, they're like, we don't want the asuras, the demons, to drink this libation, this elixir of immortality, because we don't want them to become immortal. They were gatekeeping. So they devised this plan where the demons would be distracted while all of the deities were drinking this elixir of immortality. One demon in particular, whose name is now known as Rahu, its main quality, its main trait is desire. It just has this hunger, this desire, it wants. And its power or ability is illusion. So Rahu disguised itself as a deity, got its little self in line, got some of that good, got some of that nectar, that juice, that Amrita, drank it, and as it was drinking it, the sun and the moon, being luminaries, saw through the illusion and was like, holy fucking shit, that is a demon, ordered its head to be whoosh, removed from its shoulders. However, since it had already drank the elixir of immortality, all that happened was its head was severed from its body. So in its rage of losing its head, Rahu said, I'm coming for you. And it swallowed the sun and the moon whole. However, since Rahu doesn't have a body, the sun and the moon just passed through. And that is where we get eclipses from. So that is why it is seen as being this deep disturbance to your mind and to like who you are, because the sun and the moon represent the soul, the spirit, the emotional thinking mind. And when they come into play with Rahu, the head, and what later became its tail, Ketu, that's when we have eclipses, and that deeply disturbs our mind. So in my lineage of Jyotish, it is seen as a ill omen to stare at an eclipse. So everyone out here buying all these eclipse glasses and looking at the sun, which one isn't good for your retinas. I think the most Googled term or question after the eclipse was like, why do my eyes hurt or something like that? One, like brain cells, don't stare to the fucking sun, whatever. Anyway, don't do it. So what eclipses bring about in general, like in mythology, are these sudden, intense changes that just come out of fucking nowhere. And if you track back all the different eclipses, like people, they kind of go bye-bye. Mr. Diddy, all of a sudden, he's going bye-bye behind bars. Dame Maggie Smith, she KO'd today, like RIP mama. But like these significant sudden shifts happen, and depending on where the eclipse is happening in your house will determine how it's affecting you specifically. It's wild, but these shifts are seen as these like fated necessary changes, and what's recommended is that you just surrender, let go, and let it be ripped from you. It's like, I heard this story once of someone whose friend, they took them skydiving, and when they got to the part where you had to jump out the plane, her friend was like, I'm fucking terrified, I don't want to do it. But she was like in a position already where she was about to jump, and the wind took her, scraped her whole self up. Let the change happen. Don't build a dam where a river should flow. Let it happen. Let go of stagnation. If it's not meant to serve you anymore, the universe is gonna take it from you. And that may seem like super upsetting and sad or whatever, but like it didn't belong in the first place. This eclipse will take place in Virgo, and Mercury being the ruler of Virgo, we like to see like, okay, what's the condition of Mercury will this will be? Mercury's in the eclipse, babes. Mercury's in this sauce. So we can't rely on her to help us here, okay? Mercury typically gives us enhanced rational thought, especially being in its own sign of Virgo, but eclipses deeply disturb your mind. So this could result in your mind playing tricks on you. It can result in being delulu. Mercury, which rules the buddhi, the intellect, is going to be in this eclipse. And the moon is involved in the eclipse. It happens during a new moon, this particular eclipse. And the moon controls the manas, the emotional thinking mind. So both facets of our mind will be disturbed during this eclipse. And that is why it is recommended to not make any major choices, decisions, start anything new 3 days before the eclipse, the day of the eclipse, 3 days after the eclipse. Use this time instead to just chill, meditate, kind of be by yourself, like be in your own frequency. Think about how fucked up you're gonna feel during this eclipse. Imagine being around a bunch of other people and they're going through it, maybe knowing how to process their emotions in a healthy way. Okay, girl? So this eclipse will be aspected, one, by Mars, who's currently in Gemini. It's neutral Mars, but this will give this kind of impulsive streak, maybe a bit of overreacting, quick to freak out about small things, like not using your rational mind because it's eclipsed at this moment to problem solve in an appropriate way. So the best thing to do is to avoid arguments, avoid confrontation, don't pick fights. I'm not gonna tell you to not finish a fight. I have that ethos. I will never start shit, but a bitch will finish it. And if someone wants to try you, I'm not like that peace, love, shanti, toxic positivity girly. I'm very much a fuck around and find out girly. I'm not advocating bad things, but at the same time, don't let you wanting to be conflict avoidant and avoid hurting someone else's feelings have someone take advantage of you or walk all over you. People like to take kindness for weakness, but don't make yourself uncomfortable for the sake of making someone else comfortable, okay? Just know that it could be like a more heightened response or reaction to the scenario because of this Mars aspect, because we're in an eclipse. Like, if possible, avoid conflict if you can, but at the same time, stand up for yourself, dead ass. That's number one. Number two, Saturn will be aspecting this eclipse. And Saturn, bless, Jai Shani, is a planet of karma, discipline, hard work, loss, kind of removing things from your life in a way of like it's removing kind of what's not serving you. And this is a way, honestly, I think, since eclipses make us very internal, a way to avoid conflict, so isolate yourself because of this Mars aspect, but then use this Saturn influence to have this kind of karmic nature of removing what no longer serves you, and use that to compost into some sort of nutrients to fuel the reality that you would like to manifest. Meditation is highly, highly, highly recommended during an eclipse because you're putting that energy out into the universe at this heightened level, and the universe might see that as a signal of like, okay, it's time for me to manifest more of this. That's what this person is focusing on so much right now. Like, think of the eclipse as like a portal. It literally even looks like a portal. Use this time to do meditation practices. You can do positive affirmations, like just saying positive things, like, you know, like the rosary bead. You can do a mala and do japa meditation. You can breathe. You can listen to good music. Just putting yourself in like a nice environment where you feel comfortable manifesting. That is the energy that we should be cultivating during this eclipse cycle. So the nakshatra that this eclipse will take place in is called Hasta. Hasta takes place from 10 degrees and 0 minutes of Virgo all the way to 23 degrees and 20 minutes of Virgo. And the symbol for Hasta is a hand. This suggests having this kind of self-made quality, being able to do things yourself, being able to manifest, create, generate your own abundance, positive things in your life coming because of your hard work, your efforts, and your diligence. At the end of the day, yes, this is an eclipse, but this is a new moon. And new moons symbolize new beginnings, fresh starts, like a different chapter of your life, kind of closing the door on one area and manifesting and walking into what kind of life you actually do want for yourself. New moons are the perfect time for resetting goals, kind of evaluating where you are in your life. We are in autumn quarter of 2024, so look back at winter of 2024, spring, summer, and see like where you've been. It is so easy for us to get into the mad end of the year rush with like holidays, visiting family coming to us, traveling, working extra in order to afford gifts, dealing with family. Like, it's a fucking lot. So use this time to kind of look at how do you want this new phase of your life after this eclipse, this portal. How do you want to step into that aspect? Do you want to keep doing the same shit that you've been doing year after year? Or do you want a fresh start, a new beginning? That is everything that a new moon represents, this kind of untapped potential. So during this solar eclipse, my loves, I ask that you set some positive intentions, do some rituals that nourish you, and really see, like, genuinely, how do you want your life to be? See if you can use this eclipse energy to manifest what it is, the kind of life that you would like. Thank you so much for watching. I also have recorded, linked in the description box, a pick a card tarot reading for this eclipse cycle, because you know I got you. So check out that link, pick the deck that resonates with you, drop the comments, etc, etc, etc. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Barista Witch channel. It is me, your girl Misha, and we are getting into predictions for this eclipse using some tarot cards, using some oracle cards to kind of divinate what forces will be at play during this eclipse. I'm also currently running a little autumn equinox special over on Patreon, where you will receive a free 20-minute customized, personalized tarot and astrology reading just for you. The rules of application are you have to subscribe to the Patreon channel and get 2 of your friends to subscribe to Patreon as well. So head on over to patreon.com and let's get into it. So first up, we have the runestone Ansus, which represents signals, messages that may come to you in the form of the mundane or the divine to help you see what it is you need to know about this upcoming eclipse. Then we have the runestone Perth, which represents an initiation, a point in your life of no return. Then we have the runestone Algies, which represents protection, to ask Spirit to protect us during these changes. And lastly, we have the runestone Thurias, which represents a gateway, stepping into a new aspect of ourselves. And now I'll give you some time just to kind of meditate on each of these runestones to see what message you would like to hear from Spirit. I recommend going with your gut instinct, whatever runestone, whatever deck you feel drawn to, that is the deck that holds those messages for you. And if you feel pulled toward more than one runestone, more than one deck, tune into that video as well. Take what you need, leave the rest. There's always something to learn, always something to be gained, especially during the time of an eclipse, which is just so transformational for every walk of life on Earth. And so my lovelies, once you have decided on a specific deck or decks that you would like to tune into, check out the description box because all of the timestamps for each of these decks and runestones will be linked below for your easy access. And we will begin with Ansu's, the runestone of signals and messages. This is the messenger rune to see what messages and signals Spirit has in store for us during this eclipse. I will see you at the click of your timestamp. Hello, my group one babies. Welcome to your new moon solar eclipse predictions. You have chosen the runestone of Ansu's, which represents signals. This runestone is known as the messenger rune, and the keynote here is receiving messages, signals, and gifts. This runestone is also represented by the god Loki, and Loki is a reminder that even, sometimes negative people, scoundrels, these people can also be the bearers of wisdom and knowledge and teaching us lessons that we need to know. When you draw this runestone, you can expect the unexpected. This runestone calls on us to focus directly on self-change and to remind yourself that you must first nourish yourself before you can nourish others. So look for the signs and signals during this eclipse season of you needing to practice a little bit more self-care. Notice when those instances pop up where you feel like you're kind of giving to others and a card has flown out for you. Here we have the Ace of Bones. And the Ace of Bones is also representative of the Ace of Wands. And the Ace of Wands represents the element of fire, passion, things that are generating a new creative idea. The Ace of Wands represents a career calling. It's something that you're so fucking passionate about. Oh, we had multiple cards flip over. I didn't even notice. We have also the Two of Bones and the Hermit that popped out. Spirit has a lot that they want to let you know for this reading. So here first, let's focus on the Ace of Bones. This represents having a passion, something that's your career calling. It's something that you focus on. So what signals and signs can you receive from the universe that you can tune into that will help you focus on your career path? Here in the Two of Bones, we have making plans. This card represents business plans, preparation, finding the perfect timing to execute your plan. This is a card that represents good business partnerships and waiting for the right time to execute your perfect plan. This is being able to be persuasive and having an open mind about some new ideas that may crop into your life. And here in the Hermit, we have a card that represents experiencing a bit of solitude for the sake of personal growth. This is an opportunity for you to feed your soul. This is a card of the ultimate destination, which is the self. So turning inward and finding your own inner seeker, your own inner guide, your own wisdom and inner balance. This card is letting you know that it is time for you to take the necessary time that you need in your life for some self-reflection. You have to journey inside of yourself and carve about some time in your life to have intentional isolation. So we live in a time where it's very common for us to constantly want to be around people and socialize and have all these gatherings, but sometimes turning inward and just pausing and reflecting, even if our inner landscape, like our mind, our feelings, our emotions can be quite loud, that's when it's time to pay attention the most, rather than using external things such as people or places or environments to kind of distract yourself from what it is that you actually need to focus on. This is perfect to go in alignment with drawing the signal rune, because the best way to notice signs and things that you actually need is when you quiet the mind and you're not so easily influenced by the opinions of other people. And this way you literally focus on what it is that you're passionate about, what it is that is your calling, without other people kind of influencing you and telling you what you should or shouldn't be doing with, at the end of the day, your life. So especially since we're entering spooky season, cuddle, cuffing, cozy season, find those instances in your life where you could really like just have the perfect excuse to turn inward. I feel like I'm the queen of wanting to stay home, almost to a fucking fault. But I just personally find that I can just rest and recharge myself so much more easy at home and not be so distracted by the feelings of others, the opinions of others, other people's energies. For those of us who are very spiritually in tune and inclined, social settings can be a bit overwhelming sometimes, like all that energy. It's just, being a sensitive soul is a lot. I completely understand my group 1 babies. And here we have the cartographer. The cartographer calls for you to explore paths that have been completely unexplored before, paths that no one has been on. Cartographers make maps, and they make maps of places that haven't seen human beings or had other people's influence. And here with the Ace of Bones, which is also representative of the Ace of Wands, that's literally creating a new idea that is your career calling. So finding some sort of business idea that no one else has done. The Two of Bones also amplifies this and supports this by being a card of planning. So how can you do your research, turning inward during this time to really just do something that's 100% you? And if you are authentic to yourself 100%, you'll do something that no one else has done. Doing something that's specifically 100% just authentically you and me. Oh girl, and we have 2 cards that flew out. First, we have the Botanist, which represents parenthood and legacy. And then we have here the Forgotten, missed opportunities or fear of failure. So let's first start with the Botanist. So the Botanist represents a period of growth in order to create a legacy for yourself. It's a nurturing quality, which definitely comes about with finding signals of how to literally take care of yourself. Literally, what were we saying this entire reading? What were we saying at the beginning of this reading? A time of focusing on your own self-care. And it's finding the right environment for everything in your life, your intentions, material possessions that you might want, your mental health, what environments support that, what environments support your physical health. So it really is cultivating and growing the things in your life that you need. This is a card of peak creativity in life, and literally the Ace of Bones, which is also the Ace of Wands, is a card of creativity, passion, that kind of spark, that fiery spark. This is letting you know that whatever you create, whenever you pause and listen to the signals that come to you during this eclipse season, you will be able to cultivate a legacy for yourself, for your descendants if you choose to have them. I know that having generational wealth is seen as this kind of romanticized idea that like a select few people get to have, but I don't necessarily want to limit myself with that mindset, to be honest. Like, I think as long as you are passionate and you have determination and will, and you're able to handle obstacles and see them as just ways to strengthen yourself, you will be able to also cultivate that generational wealth and that legacy for your family as you want. And literally here in the card of the Forgotten, which is also representative of the Hermit card, the Forgotten is a card of just kind of feeling like you're falling into your own insecurities. It's that introspection that can be a bit dangerous, that kind of woe is me attitude, that, oh, what about me, blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. We are eclipsing that energy, that sad girl, sad boy, sad they, them energy. We are here with a mindset of affluence, of positivity. It's okay to be sad, of course, like duality in life. You are a human being on planet Earth with feelings, but notice those instances where we just want to kind of sink into that and just, it becomes a personality trait. We're not doing that. This card represents the social pressure to say and do the right thing. That can be incredibly overwhelming. We are not perfect. No one gets that right all the time. The best way to quote unquote get it right is to speak from the heart with the intention to cause no harm. That is done by tuning in with yourself, by using the energy of the Hermit card, of turning inward to see what signals are out there for you, what messages are tuned in for you. So try to avoid letting your fear of making a mistake inhibit or stop you from trying something. Like, new things in life are terrifying. It's really scary to be the cartographer, to travel a road that no one else has been on when we don't have examples from other people of how to overcome obstacles. But that's just your brain protecting you. Do it anyway. So think of the things that make you anxious, that make you feel like you have a bit of imposter syndrome. Fuck all of that bullshit, genuinely. And we're moving past that energy. Like sometimes, especially with eclipse season, I love tapping into this energy because if there's some sort of stagnation or tension or something that's been holding me back, eclipses are just boom, immediate, significant changes, letting go of things that no longer serve you in a really intense and profound way. And here in the Four of Pentacles, that might even come in the form of having a bit of anxiety towards money. So pentacles represent finite things such as time, money, earth energy, and the Four of Pentacles is representative of reminding you that you have more than enough. In addition to this being you have more than enough money, this is just the energy in general of clinging too hard to something for fear of, losing it. And if you squeeze too tightly on something, you just might destroy it. So this card is to let you know that there's no need for you to be stubborn. There's no need to you to stress. Like, you've built a nice foundation for yourself. If you compare your life today to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, think about where you were literally 4 years ago today, October 2020. Girl, we were screaming, crying, throwing up, and fighting over fucking toilet paper in our homes. And now we are living in abundance. And here, the Judgment card popped up to let you know that it is time for you to have a bit of a wake-up call moment. This card literally represents cleansing and positive change. This card is, this is ridiculous. It's literally a card that represents reflecting and evaluating on your past self and actions. And it's literally came up within this energy of having anxiety and having the hermit card turning inward. This is a card to let you know that it is okay to let go of your past self. What did I just say in the fucking Four of Pentacles? You can't make this up. Like, this is a card of being vulnerable, of being truly like brutally honest with yourself. Eclipses are no joke. This is a time to really just be like, what am I doing? And there's no need to be judgmental in a negative way, but it literally is just kind of ironing out the ticks and crosses of your life. You can make a pro-con list to identify what it is, but the Judgment card is here to let you know that there is a new phase of your life coming into fruition. And before you do that, this is a time to have a moment of reflection, evaluation, critique your past actions, and then be a bit of objective in understanding yourself. Like, oh, I behaved this way in this relationship because of this past trauma, because of, fear of abandonment issues or attachment issues. And, maybe you have, the attachment styles, like anxious attachment. That's okay. And it's just a learning process of just like identifying when it crops up, seeing what may have happened to make it pop up, and then just noticing in advance, like, okay, this is just a lesson, not necessarily the person that's making this happen. And this is a time for you to gain clarity, a reawakening of yourself. It's a time to purge, cleanse, and renew. It's a spiritual rebirth, my loves. And when we have a spiritual rebirth, these are changes that stay with us. This isn't like, cutting your hair and then it grows back, or changing out, a different type of shoe. This is a deep soul transformation that ultimately serves to return us to who we truly are, beyond this weird meat suit, paying taxes with paper on a flying rock, fighting over dumb shit. Like, I'm so over being a human, I swear to God. Oh, anyway. And here we have the Fire Ant card. And the Fire Ant represents this energy of being aggressive, of having rigid thinking and following orders. What were we just talking about? Being on this flying fucking rock. So this is a card that represents gossiping, blaming others, just being misaligned. This energy comes about when maybe we're kind of stewing over something. Like if something is bothering us, we just kind of, talk to the people who we know are gonna egg us on, or if we're in a sad mood, listening to sad girl, sad boy music instead of doing something that's actually gonna be positive. So this card is asking you to break free of those habits of not wanting to dive into drama and dive into those instances of just kind of feeding the negativity. This is Spirit letting you know that this might be a habit that you have, and that's okay. It's sometimes good to be called out by Spirit because it's for the best. Like any message that comes from the divine is for our own well-being. It's not like it's some weirdo being like, this is a signal from the universe to be like, hey, your life will be better if this habit that you have been doing this whole time, and look at the quality and state of your life, if you change it, your life can be even more amazing. Ooh, and here in the Panther card, Spirit is asking you to cultivate a bit of like aggressive energy in a way. This is literally, hold on, I'm gonna show you what this guidebook says, because you can't make this shit up. This says, if you want to Ariana Grande 2015, focus on me. This says annihilation of the unnecessary, purging. I'm sorry, literally, what have we been talking about this entire time with this eclipse energy? Spirit is letting you know that growth can't occur. This botanist energy of cultivating, nurturing all of those qualities in our life that we want to come up into fruition, that can't happen if we have old stagnant energy staying within our ecosystems. You can expect the unexpected. It's uncomfortable. It might even be devastating. But when the dust clears, when all of those things settle, you will see what actually is necessary. You will be able to look at these experiences with these people, these circumstances with a bit more clarity and be able to see, this may have sucked a bit of donkey dick going through it, but look at how much better I am afterwards. It's like, my gay is showing, but do you know Legally Blonde the musical, like so much better when she is devastated after she sees Warren propose to Vivian, and then she sees her name on the list and she's like, 'cause I feel so much better than before. Like this is that energy. So my group 1 babies, this is the message that I got for you from Spirit. If you found it helpful, please drop a little ant emoji into the comment section to let me and others know that you are group 1 baby. Please drop any other emojis from any other groups that you tuned into if you were called to those runestones as well. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on so you know whenever a new piping hot batch of cosmic tea comes your way. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hello, my group 2 babies. Welcome to this portion of your annular solar eclipse new moon predictions. You have chosen the runestone Perth, which represents initiation, something hidden and secret matters. This runestone represents having this phoenix-like quality, this ability to transform, because initiations are all about entering a new chapter, entering something new, something secret. Think of like a secret society, so to speak, and what is more witchy, occulty than a fucking eclipse that literally looks like a portal. This eclipse in particular will have what's called a ring of fire, which is because of the position of it, with the moon being between the earth and the sun. It's going to be at a distance that's not like that eclipse that happened in April where it completely blacked everything out, and maybe we saw a few solar flares, but like it was dark. Remember how like it got black? This will have a ring of fire that literally looks like you are stepping into a portal of sorts. And this runestone represents the energy of surprises, gaining something, rewards that you didn't necessarily anticipate, because when you complete, we already have something, an initiation practice, you are rewarded. And this is the 4 of Pentacles, which represents holding on too tightly to something. This is a card to let you know that it's time to let go, which is all about an initiation process, letting go of your past self, letting go of that older version of you that may have had some certain limiting beliefs, whether it be due to anxiety or your familial conditioning, your societal conditioning. Sometimes we take on, family trauma. And if we are here to be generational curses and letting go of things that no longer serve us, the Four of Pentacles is definitely that card. It's letting you know that you have a solid and stable foundation. You can rest easy. You don't need to fear of losing something by like squeezing it so much. Like, it's okay to loosen your grip. It's not going anywhere. It is yours. You are safe. You are safe. You are safe, okay? So this runestone is also represented by the ability to fly freely like an eagle, like a phoenix. And this is being able to lift above your circumstances and kind of get this distance, this POV, to really see what you need to maybe let go of. And this also might be experiencing like a bit of a ego death, so to speak, of maybe I'm the asshole. And I've had those situations totally where I'm like, maybe I'm the asshole. Maybe you talk to a friend who's blunt with you in a loving way. Like, I'll always ask my dad, like, am I being an asshole right now? Because I can be, like, whatever. I'm not gonna pretend to be perfect. I'm nice and kind and sweet, but I'm definitely not when I don't wanna be, but only when provoked. Anyway, this is the Three of Swords. Sorry, I didn't mean to scream. But the Three of Swords is literally my group 2 babies telling you it is time to let go. And this is in respects of romantic love. The Three of Swords is a card of letting you know it is time to move on. This is a card that maybe represents that you have been betrayed, having a broken heart. This is just letting you know that it's okay. This is a card to let you know that your fear of whatever is going on, whatever heartbreak, whatever loss you're experiencing, it will soon subside. These are moments when a heart breaks, it actually grows bigger and makes space where we can kind of go inside and explore those caverns. Like, heartbreak, I feel like opens up parts of myself that I didn't even know fucking existed, where I'm like, whoa, I have the capacity to do so much mentally, emotionally. I didn't even know that these, you could feel these things, but it's a way to explore those kind of dark areas of your psyche and of your emotional nature and figure out who you are. Like, look at what runestones are carved into the architecture of your soul and use that to alchemize who you really want to be. Love this. We have the Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords represents taking a necessary journey in order to gain perspective, to gain clarity, and in order to clear your mind. This is a card of literally moving onward. Spirit wants you to know that regardless of whatever heartbreak you may be experiencing, there are going to be better times ahead. You need to first get away. You need to get out of that circumstance, get out of that situation. Use this initiation runestone to kind of elevate like a phoenix, like an eagle, to take a kind of higher POV, to see what has been your mental prison this entire time. This is a card that literally represents a transition and deciding to leave your past behind for the good. This is literally a journey card for a journey runestone. Like, you can't make this up. This is a card to let you know that you are sailing away from stormy waters and into a sea of tranquility. This is moving away from difficulties by using objectivity and positivity where you maybe didn't necessarily always use that energy in the past. So maybe you plan a little staycation for yourself, maybe with some friends, but what do you need to do? It could be a literal journey, going away, or a figurative journey of having an initiation with yourself of, I'm not looking back. I'm in a new phase of my life and I'm not turning back to those old habits, behaviors, patterns, They don't serve you anymore, so it's time to move onward. And here, the best way to move on is to have gratitude or forgiveness. And truly, the best way to see things in our life in a more optimistic way is to notice, like, okay, maybe these circumstances weren't positive, blah, 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 but have gratitude for the lessons you learned. I genuinely feel like a lot of shitty relationships that I've been in have always come with some sort of gift, so to speak. It can be incredibly difficult to find forgiveness, especially when someone has fucking hurt us, but this card of gratitude or forgiveness is showing up alongside the Three of Swords to try to really kind of drive home that there's always a lesson in heartbreak. There's a capacity to know, like, oh wow, that's the type of person that they actually were. Thank you for showing me now rather than later, when you've invested more of your energy, time, resources into that situationship. Ugh, yuck. It's time to move on and have forgiveness. I would say, listen, I am peace, love, om shanti, but I also love to hold a grudge. I don't know what that says about me, and I really don't care, because sometimes motherfuckers pop up and act crazy, and it's okay to not forgive them, but I think you can forgive the version of yourself that allowed that disrespect to occur. Because there's so many instances where people say shit that we know is off and we don't, stand up for ourselves. Forgive that version of yourself that felt fear, that felt anxiety, that maybe felt a need to avoid confrontation. That's okay. That's just, you're a good person. You don't want to cause conflict or hurt people, not like those other people. And that says more about those people, honestly, than you, because being able to even have the lens to see, like, oh, that behavior is fucked up, that shows that you are a good person. Because some people really be walking around here with Costco-sized audacity, thinking that they can just do, say, act however without repercussion, and that's actually fucking insane. Spirit here is letting you know that it's okay that we encounter those personality types and that energy, but try to have gratitude that we are happier humans and that we aren't those people to walk around being miserable, wanting to cause harm to other people rather than, I don't know, go to therapy, do the work, and have forgiveness for that version of yourself that allowed it. But just know you are stepping into a phase of your life where that is not something that you will tolerate going forward in the future. We are moving on to bigger and better ways of treating ourselves. And here, Spirit is telling you to don your witch hat. And this card represents stepping into that spiritual side of yourself. This is letting you know that you are the creator of your own power. This is letting you know to trust yourself. There is no power or being or spirit or energy that is stronger than you. You are the person who has to deal with your feelings, your choices. Like, you have to sleep at night with everything that you do. And right now, the Witch's card asks you, who is the ultimate judge of your worth and well-being? Is it a different person? Is it that crusty, dusty, musty who is breadcrumbing you, not giving you the time and energy that you needed? Like, no, I love you so much, those of you who are watching this, and like, you deserve so much more. I'm getting like angry that people even treat you like shit, and like, oh, it makes me want to cry sometimes, but there is not a single limiting belief that defines you. It is just a lesson in disguise of what can you actually do to be a better person and to not allow people to disrespect you. You are being asked right now to not conform to societal standards, not give into shame, not give into limiting beliefs, not being like overly critical of yourself, and be your own best friend. Be your own authority. There's no need to like lean on someone else. Spirit is letting you know that it's okay to like move on into being your own person. You don't need this heartbreak. It could have also been a friendship, a parent, someone who hurt you. You don't need that shit. move on. Like, you know your own worth, you know what makes your freak flag fly. And if someone doesn't like that or respect it, they can, I don't know if I can say this without getting demonetized, but they can schmuck a schmag of schmelly schmicks. And just know that whatever choice that you decide to go with, you will be supported. Spirit is on your side, and Spirit wants you to know that go this way. Go this way. Ooh, and here we have the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is a card that represents not necessarily seeing what is in front of you. It's a card of being so blinded by what you think you want, by maybe like if you have like a certain type of person, you know, that you usually fall for, that actually might be a limiting belief of yours that gets in your way of seeing opportunities. This is letting you know that you shouldn't be complacent, that what you actually want is right in front of you. You might just be blinded by something. So kind of draw back the veil, no matter what the situation is, and see what's on the other side. An initiation is literally going from one aspect or one point of your life into another part of your life. This is taking the time to reflect, contemplate, and pause before you take on something new. This is being able to see opportunities beyond the kind of protective shell that we place around ourselves in order to not get hurt. So this is literally Spirit letting you know that you can safely take a risk, as kind of like oxymoronic as that sounds, and trust that you are ready for love. You're ready for the unknown. Like, you might feel anxious about this, and that's okay. Change can be scary. Initiations can be scary. Think about all of the stories we read about secret societies and stuff, and how they move into a different phase and they have these challenges and tasks, and it's difficult, and like, it's okay. Like, it'll be okay, because it is so much more worth it to go through discomfort rather than stay in stagnation. And here we have the Page of Swords, and swords represents having intellect, it's thought, speech. The Page of Swords represents this deep, searching mind. This is a card that represents just the thrill of the hunt, the thrill of the chase, so to speak. This is being charming, curious, ambitious, and it's someone who literally trusts their instinct and paying attention to what people do rather than what people say, because actions speak so much louder than words. So for example, if you establish a boundary with someone and then they get upset and start throwing temper tantrums, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you behaving this way? The only people who get upset when a boundary is put in place are the people who benefited from when that boundary wasn't there. And that's not okay. That doesn't sit well with my spirit. That doesn't sit well with my spirit. I hate that shit. This is a time for you to like, be mindful of someone trying to push your boundaries. Be mindful if you have said no, if you have decided that you're trying to move on, to step into being who you truly are, and some crusty, dusty, musty is coming back into your life. No. They can meet you at the finish line. Don't pump the brakes because someone doesn't know how to keep pace. That's fucking bullshit. Like, no, this isn't charity work. This is your fucking life. Sorry, not sorry. And here we have the Four of Pentacles, which, I'm sorry, did this card come up twice for you in this reading? So when a card shows up twice in a reading, that means Spirit wants you to know this message more than ever. And not only did the Four of Pentacles show up twice for you, it showed up in the exact same fucking spot underneath this initiation. Oh, I'm like losing my whole medulla right now. So just to reiterate, the Four of Pentacles represents that you have what you need. Clinging on to something too hard may destroy it. This is letting you know that you don't have to grasp onto something. You have a safety net of whatever it is you've built up, especially if it's finances. Like, I know if you're looking at this from a perspective of like you're breaking up with someone and sometimes you tie finances together, like you live together, blah, 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 you will be okay. Like, you will be okay. Think about how much you've been supporting yourself before this relationship, during this relationship. Like, if you really dot your T's and cross your I's, girl, you know that you good. You don't need that crusty, dusty, musty. Don't let them gaslight you, or don't even gaslight yourself into thinking that you don't have enough. You have more than enough. You have a firm foundation from which you can stand to launch yourself into this new chapter of your life. So don't let anyone ever place a limitation on you. That is the craziest shit I've ever heard of. That's when I just become rebellious and I'm like, I dare you to try to fucking stop me. Are you crazy? And here we have the poet, we have the poet. And the poet card is representative of relationships and your responsibility to said relationships. The poet card is here to let you know that there is love on the horizon, my beautiful group 2 baby. You just have to embrace it. It's up to you. Whatever you are worried about, whatever your hesitations, your fears, just accept that, like, this equinox is here to let you know, this autumn equinox, but this eclipse is here to let you know that it is time for you to step into this new chapter. Like, be imaginative, be creative, be passionate, be vulnerable. I know it can be difficult to be vulnerable after being vulnerable and having someone be a dickhead. It results in heartbreak. I understand that, but opening yourself up to other people, being vulnerable, is not a weakness. It is the greatest strength that a human being can possess, because it is so easy to lie, manipulate, steal, to be a crusty, dusty, scattering and scurrying musty. But if you are yourself, if you are passionate, if you are authentic, that is the true version of happiness that Spirit wants you to embrace and step into during this eclipse season. And here we have the sleeper. Girl, cause and effect and gaining clarity. Because exactly, this is all about seeing cause and effect, boo. If you upset someone, if you kick a hornet's nest or a wasp nest, don't you expect to get fucking stung? If you poke a bear, don't you expect to get your shit rocked? The same goes with this romantic situation. This is just cause and effect. So this person in your life, if they are trying to, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna be all nice, blah, blah, blah. No, you are stepping into a new phase of your life because cause and effect, babe. You had your chance and you fumbled it. It's not my fault that you fumbled the bag. Go practice, work on it, go to therapy, and then keep it pushing. The sleeper is letting you know that any past decisions that you've made in your life are starting to come into fruition. They're starting to manifest. It's a bit of like karma, like legit. And it's karma that you will experience during this eclipse season, like in a very spiritual, like holy macaroni kind of way. And you'll see it play out with like not only how you relate to the world, but how the world relates to you. So different people might pop back up into your life. Like maybe a job will suddenly change for you. Maybe a relationship will change. It is just the karmic implications of this eclipse cycle. And this is also letting you know that it's okay when these things pop up to admit like, shit, maybe I fucked up before. That's okay. Like, we are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Spirit wants you to know that you are on the right path. And this is the perfect opportunity to make a better choice, to know that all of your actions have led you to this divine moment of your life. And I mean, you're doing pretty fucking well. Like realistically, like, okay, we have good days, we have bad days, but really, you're doing pretty fucking good. And if anyone hasn't told you that, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna be the first to tell you, you're doing fucking great. You are quite literally doing the best that you can. And that is what matters, especially as we step into this new chapter, this new initiation phase of our life. So my group 2 babies, thank you so much for being here If you like this video, please drop a little witch emoji into the comment section to let me and others know that you are group 2 baby. If you watch some other corresponding videos to see how this eclipse cycle will affect you, add those emojis to the comment section so we know your entire cosmic tea. Thank you so much. Please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on so you know whenever a new piping hot batch of cosmic tea comes your way. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, my group 3 babies. Welcome to the tarot portion of your new moon annular solar eclipse predictions. This runestone that you chose is for protection. This is all G's, and this runestone comes about during times of transitions and shifts in your life that facilitate this kind of accelerated sense of self-change. And when this happens, it is important to protect yourself against kind of collapsing into the chaos of that transition. So if you're going through a bit of an emotional upheaval or change, it is imperative that you kind of fortify yourself against it. It's like if you're going through hell, keep going, that analogy. This is representative of new opportunities and challenges that come about to shift your perspective. And of course, during the eclipse, that is what this means, what's going to happen. But Spirit is asking you with this runestone of all G's to remain mindful that having action during the right time and conducting yourself in an appropriate manner is the only form of protection. Being able to respond appropriately at the right time. And just know that no matter what happens, you will see progress. And that is representative here in the 10 of Pentacles. So Pentacles represents money, it represents finite things, and it represents things such as your time, again, lots of money. And the 10 of Pentacles represents completion, fullness, wealth. It represents a legacy that you can create. So if you are looking for some form of protection during this eclipse season, perhaps you want to protect your future descendants, any legacy that you want to leave behind by starting maybe a savings account, but trying to cultivate a sense of financial security and stability. Ooh, we had a few cards that flew out. Okay, so first we have the 7 of Cups. Cups represents water and emotions, and the 7 of Cups asks us to use our imagination to try to manifest the reality that we want. So in terms of protecting yourself financially, of creating this kind of generational wealth, what can you do? Well, how can you imagine that occurring in your life? Next up, we have the 2 of Pentacles, which asks us to try to juggle the various things in our life. Maybe you have multiple jobs to generate financial wealth, you have just different interests, but in juggling multiple career paths or jobs, make sure that you don't get burned out. Make sure that you find equal balance in your life so that here in the 2 of Cups, which represents finding that twin flame romantic love energy, you will be able to have the capacity to invite that romantic love into your life. The 2 of Cups is a really positive card when it comes toward romantic relationships. It's like literally finding your other half, finding that person who's going to be there for you through thick and thin. And here in the 7 of Pentacles, we have someone who's admiring the fruits of their labor. So think about those instances of where you see the results of something, like you see how far you've come in writing a book, I don't know, for example, and you're like, okay, where do I go from here? This card is asking you to take stock of the work that you've put in thus far to see where you can go next, because here in the Ace of Swords, this represents having a sharp new idea that is literally like career changing. This is an idea that can change the trajectory of your life in terms of what kind of career you can cultivate. So right off the bat, Spirit knew I was using this tiny ass deck and like jumped out of the gun to give you these messages of how you can protect yourself during this eclipse season. How can you do something financially to protect yourself? How can you use your imagination while juggling various different ideas, various different jobs? Being able to still find balance in your life for romantic love. Don't just let yourself be work, work, work all the time. Make sure you leave room for romance in your life, and then sit back and take stock of what you've done. And here we have the squirrel and the chestnut, which is all about preparation. So again, this goes into play with what we've been saying. So when we think about squirrels, what they do, literally starting in autumn, they start to kind of hoard their resources in order to find enough sustenance to support them throughout the winter months. They bury nuts, they bury seeds, hiding things from other squirrels, other predators, and this ensures that they will have success in future endeavors. A chestnut, while it is a small nut, it has the potential and the capacity to grow into a super large productive tree that actually is one of the symbols for abundance. So together, these two elements of the squirrel and the chestnut remind us that any sort of careful preparation, any sort of imagining and manifesting and being able to balance a multitude of things at once can yield some amazing riches and amazing results. So Spirit is wanting to let you know that you have prepared as best as you can for whatever this solar eclipse is going to bring about, and now you just kind of have to sit back, relax, and accept whatever messages, whatever signs of protection come your way. We are being joined by my cat Mimi. And not me saying we've been joined by my cat Mimi and then drawing the fucking cat card. So the cat and the lavender. This is so funny. This represents independence. So as we know, cats are incredibly independent. They're clever, they're cunning. They often kind of represent this kind of loner, self-reliant attitude, which I personally don't agree with because cats are actually pack creatures. But anyway, this card comes into play to remind you to seek your own potential without kind of relying on validation from other people. So how can you protect yourself this upcoming eclipse season and not kind of rely on what other people have to say, what other people think about you? How can you just do things because they are what you want to do? It's what gives you joy, it's what gives you pleasure. You're not hurting anyone, but protect yourself against feeling limited by someone else's limited beliefs. Like, if you want to do something, be independent. If someone doesn't like it, I mean, I don't want to get taken off of the internet, but they could do something with a bag of something. Anyway, this card asks you to tend to your partnerships. So look at the different relationships that you have in your life, whether they be friendships, romantic relationships, business partnerships, whatever relationships that you hold dear, maybe a specific one came into play, and see what can you do to nurture those relationships. How can you plan those relationships? Because really sometimes when we're struggling, when we're feeling lonely or alone, we can seek solace in friendships, even though, you know, it is important to be independent, but you know, this could be a time for you to renew, review, renegotiate some sort of partnership that you have. And Spirit wants you to know that it is okay to receive love, to receive support, you know, like regardless of someone's opinion of that, like it's okay for you to seek help. I know there's like a huge thing of like people who get help from their parents, and it's like, I've seen people be judged for it, and I think that's so just projecting negativity. Like, if someone wants to help you, then let them. I feel like it's a little disrespectful to not accept help when someone is offering it. Like, it's coming from a place of love, it's coming from a place of support and guidance, and why not embrace that? Here we have listen to the music of your soul, and this card is asking you to do exactly what we've been talking about, regardless of other people's opinions, regardless of how someone else would have done something or handled a situation. That's 100% irrelevant, because what matters is your opinion and how you have to go to bed with your decisions at the end of the day, regardless of what your parents think, your best friend, your boyfriend. Like, Spirit is perhaps asking you to tend to those relationships, to maybe protect yourself against unwanted criticism and unwanted judgments. If someone immediately came to mind, just know that is exactly who Spirit had in mind for you to, be mindful about accepting criticism from them. Like, people love to say shit instead of go to therapy, and like, do you, boo? Don't worry about some other crusty, dusty, musty. So listen to whatever your spirit is trying to tell you. Protect yourself against unwanted criticism, unwanted, just negative self-talk, even from yourself, if it's not coming from another person, and leave that shit behind. Let all of that negativity, whatever limiting beliefs you've been tuned into, let that be eclipsed this eclipse season. And here we have the aspirant. The aspirant is all about someone who is ambitious and diligent, and someone who, regardless of whatever setbacks may occur, like, still push forward and push ahead, even through whatever obstacles may, kind of come up. The aspirant asks you to not let yourself fall into same old habits or patterns, and to just kind of reassess where you are right now. Try not to stumble or fall if something goes wrong. Like, just see obstacles as a way for you to strengthen yourself rather than like setbacks. Use whatever obstacles come your way as stepping stones to elevate you into a new path, into a new ascension, a new aspect of your life. And here we have the diviner, divine timing and evaluation. And I mean, come the fuck on. This card is asking you to know when the timing is right, to again, reassess, to pause and reflect. Just like in the Seven of Pentacles that asks you to kind of step back and evaluate what you have in your life and to use the fruits of your labor to kind of see exactly what steps you should take. It's like, okay, this is what I have, this is how I got it, what can I do next? How can I refine my behavior? This card, the diviner, is asking you to do literally the same exact thing. You've taken the actions that you needed to achieve your desired outcome, and right now there's nothing else that you can do. There's no other plans other than for you to sit back, just to kind of let the magic happen, to accept, to receive. And rather than just kind of waiting impatiently as well, use this as like a tick and tally mark of like pro-con list. This is what I've been doing, this is working for me, this isn't working for me. Like, really use this as an opportunity to compost these various facets of your life. So no matter what, you will be prepared to receive that specific thing that you've been manifesting. Like, for example, if you've been manifesting a partner, for example, a romantic person in your life, notice if you have, aspirations of having that person move in with you. Do you have enough space in your closet to share with that person? Do you sleep in the middle of the bed and spread out? Maybe you should get a bigger bed. Maybe practice sleeping on one side some nights. Like, just see how can you make these plans in your life in order to receive. And we got the Two of Cups again. Oh my gosh, my group 3 baby. So when a card appears twice in a reading, this is Spirit wanting you to like really hone in on that message. And the fact that the Two of Cups appeared twice for you in this reading is so divine and amazing, and Spirit just wants you to know that you are protected. You will have that romantic love that you seek. You will have that partnership, that twin flame energy, that soulmate energy. It is coming, it is on the horizon, and there is no need for you to kind of stress out or worry about it. Like, just know that with time, with patience, with listening to your own soul, with tending to the relationships that you have in your life, manifesting, and then at the end of the day, kind of sitting back and letting Spirit do its thing, you are in the exact right place of where you need to be. Thank you so much, my group 3 babies. If you found this reading helpful, please drop the 2 hearts emoji into the comment section to let me and others know that you are a group 3 baby and that you found this reading helpful. Drop any other emojis if you felt inclined or pulled to any other decks in the comment section as well. Thank you so much. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on so you know whenever a new piping hot batch of cosmic tea comes your way. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Hello, my group 4 babies. Welcome to the second portion of your new moon annular solar eclipse predictions. You have chosen the runestone Urias, which represents a gateway and a place of non-action. So this runestone comes into place to let you know that there is still work to be done both on the inside and outside of yourself. Here you are being confronted with a clear reflection of what's hidden within yourself and what has to be exposed to come to the surface and examined before any sort of action can be undertaken. So think about before you go on a journey, you pack your bag, you check to make sure you have everything that you need. Now is not the time to make any definitive decisions, especially not 3 days before an eclipse, the day of an eclipse, or after an eclipse, because deep transformational forces are at work. Spirit is asking you to review the past before you step through this gateway and see if you can let go of anything that no longer serves you, that's been holding you back, to reclaim your power. Don't bring some old bullshit into this chapter of your life. Let it stay where it is. And here we have the Star card. So the Star card represents this capacity for you to be vulnerable. This is a card of soul opening, hope, relief, freedom, peace. It is the loss of self-consciousness. So the only way to see the beauty in your life is to truly let go of the shit that no longer serves you and see that whatever you need actually can be found from within. The light from the star penetrates anything that's unnecessary, anything that's false, anything that's not you will be stripped away and leave the purity of the core of all things. These are gifts that come from the spirit, which, I mean, eclipses are such an intense spiritual transformational time of our life. Here in the Knight of Wands, Wands represents fire, it represents creativity, it represents passion, and the Knight of Wands represents some sort of kind of outrageous, charismatic, bold person who's coming into your life. And Spirit is perhaps asking you to be a bit more vulnerable in order to accept that passionate love that you want. This is someone who's charming, who can be a bit impulsive, but just know that there is risk that comes with being vulnerable. There is risk with, engaging with a wild spirit with this kind of super passionate energy. Ooh, we have a few cards that flew out. So here we have first the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands represents stability, it represents structure, and it represents having a good time. The Four of Wands is a card of joy, good fortune with no string attached. So whoever this kind of energy, this Knight of Wands, passionate energy is, it can come about without having any strings attached. Here in the Ten of Wands, tens in the tarot symbolize completion, and the Ten of Wands is a card to let you know that it is okay for you to release your heavy burdens. So again, be vulnerable, try to find some peace within the situation, give your body a rest. Learn to say no, learn to stay balanced, and see how you can protect your well-being. Here, in the Page of Swords, we have this kind of curious, intellectual personality. We have this deep, searching mind. We have this kind of incredibly intelligent, smart energy where you're able to trust your instinct and pay attention to what people do rather than what people say. This card is here to let you know that you are able to pursue your passions, pursue things in your life, relationships, career paths, without having any ego about it. And here the Queen of Swords further enhances that message that Spirit wants you to know by letting you know that you will be able to approach this with honesty, being able to be articulate, being able to express your mind. The Queen of Wands represents the inner strength that you have and the ability to cope with any situation, and that definitely comes about by being vulnerable. So how can you be a bit more vulnerable? How can you know that whatever you've been kind of clinging on to, how can you use it as compost to move forward into this new chapter of your life? So how can you be a bit more vulnerable? How can you have a bit more fun? Release those heavy burdens. What is it in your life that you can do to make this passage, this moving into a new phase of your life, this transition, this gateway? What can you do during this eclipse cycle to make that a bit easier on yourself? And here we have gratitude or forgiveness. This came up in another reading. So if you got this card again, Spirit really wants you to know that this is an important message for your well-being. Here in gratitude or forgiveness, Spirit wants you to have gratitude for the things in your life, for the circumstances of your life, the clothes on your back, the food you're able to eat, the friendships, the relationships you have. Have gratitude for those things, and at the same time have forgiveness for those people who may have treated you poorly, who weren't their best selves. Have forgiveness for yourself for even putting up with that energy, for tolerating it. You were doing the best that you can with the information that you know, and it's not your responsibility to play Nancy fucking Drew or Inspector Gadget to find out if someone is a good person or not. But the one thing you can do is have gratitude for that lesson and forgive that version of yourself that allowed whatever that foolishness was to transpire. And here we have Bravely Go. So the Bravely Go card appears to let you know that you are able to comfortably move forward into whatever your dreams or ambitions are. You are able to carry your awareness and discernment like a weapon, just like the Queen of Swords, this sharp intellect. You are able to have a good sense of where to go. This is the moment where you can get up, move towards the path that you're being called to, even if you're nervous, even if you're hesitant, even if it seems a bit scary. This is a time for you to be brave and to know that the only way to cure stagnation is to go through the gateway, to move forward, to be vulnerable, to have hope, to put your heavy burdens down and remove what no longer serves you. You get the chance to prove to yourself that you are bigger than any fear or any foolishness that may have hindered you in the past. And the best gift you can give yourself, my group 4 babies, is the gift of taking a chance. The gift of putting yourself out there regardless, the gift of being vulnerable, of having hope, having faith, forgiving the past version of yourself that was too scared to go forward bravely, let those burdens go, put down what no longer serves you, and move into this new chapter of your life. Here we have the Smith, overthinking. So Spirit wants you to know that maybe you have been overthinking a circumstance or overthinking a situation. That is totally normal. We are creatures with these fucking superpowered brains. But this is, Spirit wants you to know that whatever you've been thinking about a lot, whatever has been on your mind, maybe you've been planning something for a long time, you may have thought it was easy to put it off, to wait for like the right time, but by continuing to overthink things, you're gonna miss your opportunity. What's that saying? You miss 100% of the chances that you don't take, or whatever the fuck. Like, seize the day, c'est la vie. Bravely go forward, be vulnerable, take a chance, because you will feel so much better afterwards knowing that you took that leap of faith. And if you read about people who do great things, they've, quote unquote, failed so many times, hundreds, dozens, whatever amounts of time before they actually got to where they needed to be. Okay, J.K. Rowling, fuck her, she's a fucking turf. But she was denied by, I think it was like 12 different publishers before someone wanted to publish Harry Potter, and now it's, I think, like the second or third most reprinted book after the Bible. Like, take a chance, my group 3 babies. Don't overthink it. Don't, gaslight yourself into thinking that you're not ready. Take that chance. And here we have the Hound. The Hound represents loyalty, chains, and promises. This card comes into play to let you know that sometimes you may have made an agreement with someone, maybe you've said certain things to yourself, about yourself, with other people, whatever words you're being bound by. Sometimes you should know that it's not too late to decide that whatever relationship, agreement, situation that you've made, it no longer serves you, you can let it go. You do not have to hold on to ties out of a sense of loyalty or because you think that, it's what you should be doing. No, do what Spirit is calling you to do. Do what makes you feel good. Don't just stay in a situation because you are unhappy. So see where in your life you can forgive yourself for maybe breaking some promises, forgive yourself for overthinking, and just be a bit more vulnerable when it comes to going through these changes. So we have 3 cards that flipped over, and I think we even got a card you already got. So first, in this deck, look how fucking cute, the attention card. This is a yes card. So whatever you were thinking about while this was going on, the universe wants you to know yes to the answer to your question, first and foremost. How can we put her here? Then we have the 4 wands, which we literally already got in this other deck. The 4 wands represents this celebratory victory, joy, having a good time with no strings attached. And here we have the Ace of Swords, which is coming up with a sharp, bright, crisp, new idea. The Ace of Swords represents choosing to change your thoughts, slicing through any negative thought patterns to create new and uplifting ones. This card is symbolic of having a bit of a mental breakthrough. This card is a reminder that words are effective and precise, and you need to be nimble, keen, clear, and brilliant with your thinking. Make sure that you are utilizing logic and using good analysis to make good decisions, to actually seek the truth objectively and honesty. And this will help you kind of go through that gateway, like having a mental breakthrough of what has been holding you back. So my group 4 babies, this was the reading we got for you. If you found this helpful, please drop a sword emoji into the comment section to let me and others know that you made it here and that you found this reading helpful. Thank you so much. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn your notification bell on so you know whenever a new piping hot batch of cosmic tea comes your way. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.